How's it going, laser bruisers? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to the Zodiac Trials. We are currently trying to prove that Snake is both the origami cat killer and a fucking nutcase who's trying to get us all murdered and the ambitious personality who wants to win and let us all die. Actually, he was going to take us with him, but that's all. And we got it wrong last time, so we need to figure out the right one to get to the thing. It's got to be that she was poisoned, right? I mean, she was poisoned though, right? Sheep died before Dragon discovered the body? Let's try that. We thought Sheep was dead before you and Dragon came across her body, laying limp on the room. Of course we'd think that. Of course you would, it's correct. No, it's not. She wasn't killed until after Dragon left the room. Mouse, that's impossible. Why would Sheep be lying if she wasn't dead? And even if she was alive, how does that change anything? Here's how it happened. Sheep was a very suggestible girl. Snake is a very convincing man. A number of scenarios could have taken place, but let's say Snake approached Sheep, claiming he was concerned about Tiger having the key. Snake said he questioned if she could be trusted. Sheep advocated for Tiger, so Snake proposed that they put it to the test. Sheep was to go into the room and pretend to be dead. Snake would bring in someone, and they'd see the body together. Snake would then tell the other person to get the key from Tiger. If Tiger really gave the key to the other person without question, she'd be deemed too gullible to keep the key. However, if she went along with the other person, then she'd be fine. An extreme way of testing her, to be sure, but Snake is quite persuasive, and Sheep is easily pushed around, which is why you should never have given her the key in the first place. So Sheep goes along with the plan, and Snake brings Dragon into the room. He makes sure Dragon checks both the chain and the window. After Dragon runs away, Snake uses the speaker to tell Sheep to unlock the door and come back out. After all, they wouldn't want to scare the others for too long, so when they got back, they'd need to see Sheep alive and well. Sheep complied and unlocked the chain. However, earlier, when the two were preparing the test, Snake pocketed the poison. As soon as Snake got the chance, he sunk the poison fangs into Sheep and pushed her back down where she lay before. Snake relocked the chain and dropped the key in Sheep's pocket. Then he unlocks the window and returns to the immediate room through there. He quickly shuts the window and acts casual. We run in right after. He doesn't have that much time, so the timing of this is all quite tight. Dragon insists Tiger quickly unlock the chain and everyone bursts into the room. Dragon in the front, Tiger and myself behind her, and you in the rear. As you all panic over Sheep's death, he quickly and subtly relocked the window from the inside. And with that, an impossible murder has occurred. Whoa. Mouse, that was incredible. Yes, indeed, a truly logical explanation you've provided. I must commend you. I was dubious of how you'd go about it, but you pulled it off. You've successfully strewn together a scenario in which I could have killed Sheep. Spectacularly done. I say that with all sincerity, that was the most impressive effort. However, I'm afraid to say it is simply not true. While I grant you that it is a completely possible scenario, I still must ask you to provide any evidence toward your claim. Evidence? How else could you explain that murder? How else? Why, I could think of a number of ways. Perhaps Tiger was the murderer. She might not have had a clear motive, but killers rarely do. Or perhaps Dragon. Yes, there's an origami cat by her crime scene, but perhaps she had made it in advance as she prepared to kill someone. But then maybe the tables were turned on her, and her killer used the previously prepared calling card against her. That would explain why there was no cat near Tiger, yeah? Or perhaps Brian decided to interfere with the game and commit some murders himself. There's no rule against it. Maybe Bunny lied, and there were 3 keys to the chain. Perhaps the poison wasn't actually instant acting, one stolen, but a slower acting chemical combination concocted in a science lab, and Sheep locked the chain and sat down and died on her own. We can all make up stories, Mouse. They won't make them true. Fine, let's move on then. We already discussed how the second murder took place. Your killing intent slithered through the wire, through the door, into Dog's hand. You tried to divert suspicion by solving it with me, but you knew that such a simple method would be cracked easily. You even pretended to comfort me, while avoiding the circle of accusations the others were making at each other. Are all my actions benign or not? Somehow devilish in your world, Mouse. Now we can look at Dragon's death, and again we reach an impossible scenario. I'm eager to see how you write me the killer here. It's really pretty simple. There was only one answer to this mystery all along. Let's try the inside the room. Maybe it was still in that cupboard. You stacked that tower from inside the room. That would be the presumption, yes. Then you hid inside that room and waited for someone to discover the body. This sort of thing is usually a risky gamble, but with everyone so scattered around, it actually isn't that dangerous of a play at all. I hid inside the room? Forgive me if I'm wrong, but did you not look around the place when you entered? That I did. And you didn't see anyone, right? I did not. Then where on earth could I have hidden? There aren't many places to hide. There aren't, but there was one place. The closet. The closet? Mouse, all the closets in the school have been locked. Hey, maybe Snake found the key to that closet somewhere. Is that what you believe, Mouse? No, I doubt there's anything like that around. I'm pretty sure those closets were never intended to have anything to do with the game. They were just locked with keys the teachers would have, which is why Snake should have been able to hide there. Come again? Don't play dumb with me. You're actually a teacher at this school, aren't you? Oh, he had a key in his pocket too at one point when he was dead, remember? Goodness, now this is certainly an interesting accusation. I do believe I've said this before, but I'm an artist. You might also be that, but you're definitely a teacher here. And how'd you come to this conclusion? Earlier, when we talked about the scene Dragon was dead at, you called it Mr. Golladay's classroom. An odd way of referring to it, wouldn't you say? I'd sooner call it an accurate one. How would you know whose classroom it was? As I said, it was written on the whiteboard. But why would you remember that when in a room with a murder victim? My memory isn't quite eidetic, but it's close. Even still, that's not how you'd refer to this room if you had no idea who Mr. Golladay was. No one else would call it that. They'd say the classroom Dragon died in, like normal people. I would consider my speech a little more eloquent than normal people's. That's not all the evidence I have. You recognise Brian due to his butterfly tattoo, right? Yes, I believe Monkey did as well. It makes sense why Monkey would have recognised him. She's his therapist. What doesn't make sense is why you would recognise him. By your own admission, you had no real connection to this case. You were just some random witness. So how would you know immediately that the son of a man who was executed based on your testimony years ago had a butterfly tattoo there? Did you not recognise the artistry in the tattoo? It was actually done by a friend of mine. When she was showing off some of her work, I thought I recognised the boy who got the butterfly tattoo, but out of curiosity, I asked him about it and realised who he was. That's a fairly notable memory, and hence why I could identify him so quickly. What a lovely story. Why did none of this come out when we first talked about it? Why would it? No one asked, and I hardly thought it a relevant contribution to the discussion at the time. Is it not because you had him as a student? Could that teacher-student relationship have more to do with why you were chosen than your prior testimony? There are plenty of people here for seemingly weak reasons. Are they all part of the teaching staff too? There's more. Throughout the day, there have been plenty of moments where you've been more familiar with the school than you should have been. Again, all hearsay. You're a teacher, and you have a master key to the closets. After setting up those books, you slunk away into a hiding spot and waited for more prey. Suppose for a second that you're correct, then how do you explain Tiger's murder? Will you blame that on me too? Damn right I will. Admittedly, changing up your pattern did throw me off a bit. But that's just it, isn't it? A change in pattern. What happened? Were you out of ideas for locked room mysteries? Or do you just want to shake things up to confuse people? I believe those are the questions you're supposed to be answering now. Here's another one to ponder. How on earth did I manage to kill Tiger? Certainly such a task is beyond my capabilities, wouldn't you think? Tiger's strong, but she's not immortal. You were able to easily strangle her by using one simple thing. The crime scene, presumably. The railing? You took advantage of the crime scene to strangle her. The crime scene, you say? That's certainly a new one. It's obvious if she was strangled with a wire. Perhaps one found in an art classroom used for making sculptures. Perhaps. But instead of just wrapping it around Tiger's neck, you formed a noose with that wire. You held the neck of the noose in your hand and dropped the rest of it down through the railings on the top floor of the stairwell. When Tiger walked by, you distracted her somehow. Maybe made her turn around. All you had to do was get the noose around her neck and it was curtains. You think I had the strength to strangle her while she fought back? How highly you think of me. You didn't have the strength, you had the weight. As soon as the noose was around the neck, you jumped the railing and gripped onto the wire. Your weight suddenly slammed Tiger's neck to the ground, and your entire weight pulled against her throat as her head leaned against the railing. She could probably lift your weight, but at that angle, and happening so suddenly, there was nothing she could do to fight back. Like a cobra, you roped your way around her neck and strangled tightly. You were able to choke out someone who was 3 times stronger than you, and 4 times the fighter. What lovely creation on display. Truly, Mouse, if you were to murder us all, I would never be able to catch you. But here's the moment of truth. Did your words convince anyone other than yourself? Let's find out. How about it, people? Do you think your story credible? There are some weird parts here and there, but everything adds up. I don't know what else could have happened. I was convinced as soon as you accused him of being a teacher here. I too have thought it strange how he referred to certain things. Now I have an explanation. I called him a killer from the start. How could a creep like this not be a murderer? Yeah, it's definitely Snake. Good job catching this guy, Mouse. Personally, I'm not fully convinced. Such an accusation wouldn't stand up in court. However, We're at a civil case. I would rule in your favor. In other words, Snake, I'm siding with her on this one. I see, I see. So there you have it. Snake stood there with eyes closed for a few moments. Then he began to pace the floor. Are you going to say something? He stayed silent for a few beats, and then moved, and then spoke, in just as calm a tone as ever. I was surprised when I realized Brian had chosen me for this game. I wasn't surprised when Brian had made the game. This is very much his style. Overly dramatic, mechanically complex, artfully violent. That all checked out. But I was a little offended that he thought me worthy of his twisted revenge game. Even more so when I saw my personality was ambitious. So I was right. Why were you offended? If you were his teacher, didn't Brian show signs of hating you in class? At first, certainly. In fact, he confronted me about it quite early on. He accused me of horrible stuff, of fabricating testimony, of being an agent of evil. Well, I calmly explained to him that I only said what I'd seen. Everything in my testimony was supported by numerous other people, and the only way I could be lying is if a number of others were in on it. From there he seemed to soften his view on me, even more so when I said I agreed that his father might have been innocent. You think that? I certainly entertained the possibility. I'll be the first to admit that a slight one, but certainly, certain things never sat right with me. For instance, I also saw Mr. Morris leaving the scene, and unlike Tiger's testimony, I would not describe his expression as particularly angry or scared. Confused, if anything. Then again, I was further away from him than Tiger, so maybe I didn't get as good a look. So I entertained Brian's theories and got to know the boy. I would have described our relationship as rather good, hence I was slightly offended after realizing what had happened. Snake took a few more steps. In case it isn't clear, Mouse was largely right in her deductions. I tried to make the murders perfectly orderly, but of course, things all didn't go to plan. Nothing does in life. I thought I'd learned that lesson long ago. Before I was in the military, when I started out as an artist, I was obsessed with the idea of perfect art. I focused on being as fully in control of my brushstrokes as possible. I'd throw out pieces of the slightest imperfection. So when I wound up in the military due to various circumstances, for a while things made sense to me there. It was an incredibly orderly environment. Everything was where it needed to be. Entirely unlike the chaos of the battlefield. It was there I learned that as much control that you might think you have, you can't control everything. In time, everything falls to chaos. I adopted that philosophy into my art. Even the piece I ended up giving to Bowen, that sculpture that was made up of broken pieces from my past failed projects. In teaching as well, I was a strict teacher to those who sought that and a relaxed teacher to the rest. I knew that enforcing order where it wasn't wanted was a fruitless task. What the hell are you talking about? I thought we were on why you murdered all those people. Ah yes, I suppose I did get a bit off track there. As could be expected, my parting thoughts are a bit rambly. But as for why I chose to prioritize my life over 10 of yours, well, this will ring a hollow justification, and in many senses it is. I've not nearly the evidence backing up my belief that should be required. Simply put, I could not trust you all. Trust us? I don't trust that, even without my interference, there wouldn't be a villain who would not only kill the rest of you, but go on to kill more. How could you think that? Who else would do something that horrible? Instead of answering my question, Snake took a few more steps and ended up near the chess table once more. He took a move and then clicked his tongue. I see it now. Incredible. Mate in 10. To have decided this game so long ago. Black truly is wondrous. Stop dodging the question. Why didn't you trust us? I didn't trust you for one simple reason. For all the games he likes to play, I happen to know that Brian doesn't play a lick of chess. What? What does that have to do with anything? Where would be the fun if I just told you everything? If you figured me out, surely a puzzle this minor is no match for you. With that, Snake tossed 3 tokens on the floor. Minor trinkets. One is the one you gave me earlier. I found the other myself during the searching, kept it to myself for obvious reasons. The other belonged to Tiger. I think she just found one before I got to her first. Lucky me. This should bring your count up to 9. Although I guess the 7 we started with will be more than enough without me. Without you? Oh, Mouse. I intend to take a graceful leave. I very much doubt history will remember me with much honour, but I wish to at least have an honourable death. From his pocket, Snake pulled out an ornate gold knife. That knife. I found it in Dog's boot. When I went back to look at the body, I thought it might be useful. And with that, Brian will not have murdered a single person. A small grace, but a grace nonetheless. Hey, hold on. You don't have to do this. Oh, but I do. Not for any moral reasons, but because the alternative is to be executed. If you wish to do me any favours, Mouse, try to spin the story to tell the world to have some mercy on me. I know in your eyes I have no reason to deserve it, however, I am more sure than ever that if I had not done something, I would have ended in an even worse spot. So let's end things on a light note, shall we? I don't know what that means. With that last cry, Snake slashed his own throat in a single swipe with the knife, sending blood splattering everywhere. But it wasn't a beautiful death. It wasn't a fast or painless one. I heard him slowly sputter out, spitting blood onto the floor, spasming for far longer than he intended to. His death was ugly as all deaths are. Mouse, have you input your actions? Yeah, I did at the start of the round. Okay, just checking. It was round 12. Using the trinkets, we were on track for everyone to surviving to cross the finish line together. With Snake gone, we had no problem forming a sense of unity once again. Our only concern was the person with the hateful personality. However, after checking the tablets, we discovered that the person with that personality was actually one of Snake's victims. Everyone with a special win condition was gone. We could freely work together. It didn't take much maneuvering to get everyone back together. Hateful. It's gotta be dog, right? Or dragon. And on the last turn, we could all make it to the finish line. It was fine. We'd all make it out alive. No, that wasn't right, because 5 of us were dead. So, are you okay? Do I look okay? You know, you saved us with the whole Snake thing. There's nothing to feel bad about. I know, but I don't feel good about him killing himself like that. Why? He was a remorseless serial killer who put himself above others. I don't know about remorseless. I think he felt real bad. He just wasn't good at expressing it. Okay, fine, remorseful. Still doesn't make it right. I know that. But I don't know if he's a bad person because of all that. It's not like he'd ever normally kill someone. He's as much of a victim of this stupid game as anyone else. Perhaps. But I wouldn't mourn those he killed and not I would mourn those he killed and not himself. Of course I feel shitty about the victims. Sheep, tiger, dog, dragon. Not a one of them deserved to die. Then why are you focused on Snake? I'm not. It's just, I still don't get why he did it. He made up some justification so he wouldn't feel bad about the fact that he killed people to survive. It's not some grand mystery. But what was he saying about chess? Does it matter? I guess you're right. There wasn't much to think about. It does matter, I need to know. We had won, this is our happy ending. Round 12 eventually came to a close and everyone alive crossed the finish line. Our collars came off and we escaped the skull. In the end, myself, ox, bunny, horse, rooster, monkey and pig escaped alive. 7 of spades. If nothing is found in the first 3 rounds but weapons and trinkets, Snake will be assigned a role that forces him to act. If he's given a good opportunity, he'll begin to take measures against the group by murdering them one at a time. Someone smart like Mouse may eventually catch him and lead the group to get out safely, but only after a number of participants are dead. There are certainly far worse outcomes, but this path is a bit too unpredictable and deadly. Surely Mouse can make better decisions than this, right? I don't know, man, I'm not very good at making decisions. Alright, we're going to jump right back to this one, which is quite far back, because last time we locked the weapons up. This time we're going to have a guard. I think if we have to make a leap of faith, we should just have someone guard the weapons. It really is the simplest option. The plane with the chain lock and everything all seems like it could get overly complicated. I have to agree. While certainly the chain lock plan is well thought out, it seems a little much. If we can just trust one person, then everything should be fine. But if that's what the group wants, I'm not going to argue against it. I mean, whatever gets the job done, right? If we're going with this guard plan, I say we should let Tiger be the guard. Hell yeah! I won't let you down. Why do you think it should be her? If someone's going to guard the weapons, it should be someone who can actually guard the weapons. Don't you think? If a trader decides they don't have any other option but to resort to violence, we need someone there who can properly fight back. Plus, Tiger's been such a team player this whole time that I bet she'd have told us if she had ambitious or hateful personality. Of course. I'd never turn my back on you guys. I mean, she has proven that time and time again. If I had the opportunity, I'd take one of these personalities for whoever has it. Laying it on a little thick, don't you think? I'm fun for it. Seems like a reasonable enough pick. No need to waste any more time debating it. Hold on, I don't like this one bit. Why do we need a strong guard on patrol? They don't need to be strong. They've got a bunch of weapons. Horse might be tough, but he's not going to beat someone with a gun to his chest. If anything, giving unfiltered access to all the weapons to someone strong is a liability. since if Tiger decides to go rogue, it would be difficult to stop her. As for her being a trustworthy choice, I don't buy that either. Sure, she may be all smiles on the outside, but that says nothing about whether or not she's willing to fuck us. If anything, the fact that she seems so optimistic just makes me think she's good at feeding bullshit to people. Then who would you have as a guard? Isn't it obvious? Me. You? Of course, I'm the only person I can trust not to fuck me. I don't want anyone else to be guard when they could be a traitor. The fact that half of y'all aren't clamoring to be chosen astounds me. But don't get it twisted. I ain't gonna turn against y'all. I'm not like that. Besides, Tiger's better at finding things than me, so she'd be better to look for the trinkets. She was the one who found the weapons in the first place. I don't know. I don't like letting Dragon be guard. Neither. I'm sorry. Actually, I think Dragon might be a wise choice. I would say she's less likely to be a traitor than Tiger. How do you figure that? If she was, I don't think she'd lie about it so easily. Hey, the hell's that supposed to mean? As for Tiger, it's hard to get a read on her, so I'm more uneasy with letting her become guard. Hard to get a read on me? You just can't understand when someone is a decent human being? The worst thing we could do now is devolve into an argument over something so trivial. I'd hardly call giving an arsenal's worth of weapons to someone trivial. How about we just put it to a vote? That sounds fair, right? It seems like it would be for the best. Fine. All in favour of Dragon being the guard, raise your hand. Alright, let's let Dragon be the guard because we want the fail options first, right? I decided to raise my hand. Dragon made a solid point about Tiger being untrustworthy. No, she didn't. However, looking around, the only people who also raised their hand were Snake, Dragon, and Horse. Alright, and all in favour of me being guard. Ox, Tiger, Bunny, Sheep, Rooster, Monkey, Dog, and Pig all raised their hand. And with a vote of 8 to 4, we'll let Tiger be the guard. Fucking bullshit. It's democracy, I suppose. Thanks to everyone who voted for me. I'll be sure not to forget you. That's a bad sign. Indeed. Regardless, the group was decided. Tiger would be the guard. So what? Should I just go to the closet and chill there until everything's sorted out? Is that really alright? The gym's kind of separated from the rest of the building. If something bad happened, it'd be hard to get to other people. How about we move the weapons to the front of the skull? There's an office that'd be good to store the weapons in, and it's right near the cafeteria, so Tiger won't be separated from the group. Can't we just keep the weapons in the cafeteria? If it was just piled up, an avid trader could make a run for one of the guns and fire. It's best if we put them in a room and have Tiger stand outside it. I like Pig's idea. I looked over there earlier, and it's got a nice vibe. Then we'll go with that. And just like that, things were decided. Tiger, Dragon, and I led the group to the gym. We made sure to take careful stock of everything in the closet before anyone was allowed to touch anything. Then the group carried the items down to the front office Pig talked about. We piled all the weapons in the back of the room. An inventory was taken to make sure everything was there, and no one had pocketed anything. When all was said and done, we exited the room and Tiger took a seat outside the room. Is this okay, Tiger? Of course, why wouldn't it be? Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were comfortable. I'll be fine. You know, I wonder whose office this is. It says on that sign there it's Mrs. Farley's. I saw that. I was wondering what position she had in the school. She was the vice principal. It says so on the same sign. It does? Whoops. Oh my god, that's why she's got a speaking tablet. She can't read. That's why her tablet speaks instead of unlike everybody else's. Because she can't read. That's probably... Okay, I'm going to write that down. Because that is obviously going to come into play later. Exactly what we were doing before. Look for minor trinkets. Of course, everyone should be on their guard for anything out of the ordinary. But without weapons, it'll be difficult for a trader to do anything too drastic. For the sake of simplicity, whenever someone finds a minor trinket, come back here and give it to Tiger. So I can keep track of our trinket count. And when we get to the 12th one, she can tell the person to gather everyone so we can leave. Sounds like a plan, team. No, this doesn't feel right. We're lacking in motivation. What's missing? Oh, what about a team chant? Please, no. I'm not a fan of music. Not a fan of music? What kind of devil narc are you? Oh, she's got the weird hearing thing. Are we dismissed, Teach? Yes, please, leave. Actually, that's probably going to come into play later as well. You people are impossible. Not a hopeful message, but at least we're all on the same track. I watched the others all walk away, but I stayed behind. I wanted to talk with Tiger a bit before beginning my search. Mouse, why aren't you going with the others? I'll get to it. I just wanted to make sure everything was fine here. Why wouldn't it be? Well, you know. You're not secretly planning to kill us, are you? Mouse. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. No, I'm not going to kill you all, I'm offended. I thought you knew me better than that. Well, I mean, I don't. What? I mean, that's not a slight against you. I mean, we literally just haven't spent that much time together. I don't know you that well. Well, let's fix that. What do you want to know? I mean, I didn't mean that in a literal, factual sense. But while we're here, I guess I am kind of curious. You said you're an Olympian. What's the story on that? Great question. I thought going to the Olympics would be a once-in-a-lifetime, incredible experience, so I decided to go. I was already pretty good at throwing stuff, so I decided to train for javelin. And then I got really good at javelin. And then I qualified for the Olympics at javelin. And then I competed in the Olympics at javelin. Okay, I think I get the picture. Didn't medal, which was a shame, but I like to think that even getting there is an honor. Of course it is, but is that all there is to it? There wasn't some grander motivation at play, you just decided, hey, the Olympics are cool, one day. Yep, that's how I make a lot of my decisions. You see, I wanted to live through 200 once-in-a-lifetime moments, so my life is as meaningful as 200 lives. I've still got about 142 moments left. I don't think that's how meaning in life works. And also 200? Wouldn't 100 make more sense? Yeah, you know, it's twice as good as a goal. Twice as ambitious, perhaps. Same difference. Once-in-a-lifetime moments wouldn't be murdering all of us, would it? Oh my god, we're doing that again? You're kidding. Getting kidnapped like this is already a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and I can't count that and killing you as separate moments. That's double jeopardy. That's your reasoning? That's part of it. Oh. Well, I should get to searching. You do that. I'll get to guarding. You already are. You got me there. Yep. Cool. Great. Okay, bye. Assurance is partly made. I left Tiger for the minor trinket search. Having found previous success there, I decided to look on the second floor. Walking down the hallway, I ran into Ox. Oh, Mouse. Ox, have you had any success yet? No, but I'm just getting started. Care to help me look around? I would love to. Where should we look? I was thinking about looking in that office over there. I don't have a better idea, so sure. We walked into the office and began looking for a minor trinket. Say, Ox, can I ask you a question? I'd prefer if you focused on searching, but if you insist. Do you actually think this plan is going to work? I mean, if two among us are trying and sabotaging it, couldn't things go really bad? I doubt things will go flawlessly, but that doesn't mean we should stop trying to work together. Yeah, but what if one of those two with the weird personalities find a minor trinket before us? They won't tell Tiger and we down a trinket. That's a real fear. But if we're still missing some at round 7 or 8, I think we might have to abandon a few of us. What? It's unlikely the traders will be able to steal more than 1 or 2, so we'll still mostly get out. And if we rule out anyone who actively gave Tiger a trinket, then there are pretty good odds that we can exclude a trader. I know, that all sounds pretty sketchy to me. I'm not saying it's a good situation, but Mouse, if you think we can get through this without making some hard choices, I think you're going to wind up being hurt. I'd start steeling yourself for the fallout sooner rather than later. With that, Ox went back to wordlessly searching around the room. What else is there to say? Whether I liked it or not, he was right. Brian's game was inherently cruel. I needed to become cruel with it. Our search bore now results. No results? The office didn't have any clues whatsoever. Well, that was a waste. I feared this might happen. How about we search through the auditorium next? It seems like a place he'd be inclined to make significant somehow. Sure. Actually, first, how much time do we have left in this round? Should we input our actions now? Good idea. I'll go into a separate classroom. You do it here. We'll meet up in the auditorium. Gotcha. Ox left the room and let me use my tablet. Without much thought, I chose to run. Now wasn't the time to betray the group. What was I saying? I wasn't going to betray the group. I left Ox in the auditorium. Entering the room, I realized just how big this place was. This is going to be a pain, wasn't it? Do you think we'll actually find something in here? If we search the whole place and we don't, it's going to be a real waste of time. The fact it's so big means that searching it is all the more worthwhile. Not really, but let's get to it. Well, we're eliminating more surface area. We started by walking up to the stage and looking around behind the curtains and on the walls. For a while it seemed fruitless until Ox called me over. Hey Mouse, come over here. What is it? Does this look out of place to you? I looked at what he was gesturing to. In the midst of a bunch of papers hung up on random walls that looked to do with scheduling things and procedures, there was a sheet titled Rules to Find Safe. This probably has something to do with the race. I bet the clues lead to a trinket. Okay, let's see what they lead to. Oh no! It was an ordered list, which oddly started at 0. The clues were as follows. 0, the number is odd. 1, the letter's position in the alphabet plus 4 is the number. 2, the number is an 8 or 11. 3, the letter's position in the alphabet times 2 is lower number than the number. 4, the letter isn't a vowel. 5, the number is less than 10. 6, the letter is A, C, or E. 7, the letter's position in the alphabet is a lower number than the number. 8, the number is prime. 9, the letter is C. In pen, an arrow is drawn from the top of the list to the bottom. What's this all about? I'm pretty sure it's referring to the front section of the seats. I noticed earlier, from the front section is divided into rows A through F, and they're numbered from the left going from 1 to 14. What's weird about this is why there are so many clues until the location. You only need hint 1 and hint 9. It should be row C, and if C's alphabetical position is 3, then it would be column 7. Well then what are we waiting for? Let's go get the safe. We should at least see what this is about. We made our way down the aisles and over to the appropriate seat, and sure enough, hidden below the seat was a miniature safe. We found it. Hold on. Let's not start celebrating until we actually open it. I started to examine the safe and realized that we needed a 4-digit combination to open it. As I figured, it wouldn't be that easy. But look, there's a note attached to the top of it. What does it say? Following the arrow, choose the numbers who certainly led to me, while all being useful. The hell does that mean? I see. This is a puzzle. Is it? Yes. It has to do with the list of hints we got earlier, to the safe. I thought it was weird how superfluous it seems. Now it makes sense. If I had to guess, this note means we need to choose 4 hints from that list, which would lead us to the location perfectly. No guesswork needed. However, all being useful probably means that none of the clues should be superfluous. That is to say, you couldn't remove any of them without being unable to know the location. And follow the arrow probably means the digits would be in order from 0 to 9. How'd you figure all that out? I didn't figure anything out, I just interpret the rules. Maybe, but you're really good at it. It's not entirely like translating arcane legalese. Plus, I like to visit escape rooms from time to time. That explains it. We should start trying to solve the puzzle. We should. 4 rules that would lead us to C7, huh? What could the answer be? Let's go 0149. I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, here goes nothing. You know the answer? Maybe. That's not confidence inspiring. Just let me try. I started to input the code. 0149. Maybe it's this? I tried inputting the code, but the safe rejected my guess. Damn, I thought I had it. You thought. Look, if you're so smart, why don't you try giving it a go? Maybe I will. Ox leaned over to the code to input the passcode. This time the safe opened up. Bullshit, no way, nah. Don't be a sore loser, just accept that you're no match against an escape room king. Yeah, whatever, let's see what's inside. I reached inside and grabbed another token. That was so annoying. It was a familiar shape, a minor trinket. Great, so this wasn't a waste of time. Thank God. It would have sucked if it was something stupid like a gun or whatever. So, we should bring this to Tiger? That's the plan, yeah. And let's get going. The two of us left the auditorium and made our way down the stairs. Just as we started to descend the stairs, I heard 3 gunshots, and after a pause, another one. What the hell was that? Quickly, get to where Tiger is. Ox urged me to start running, and I was in no position to argue with him. A familiar sense of unease started to rise up in my chest. There was no way this was good. We started going down the hallway to the front entrance when I saw Bunny running towards it from the other side of the hallway. He must have also heard the shots. I rounded the bend and looked at the lobby only to see a horrifying sight. Tiger, Dragon. 2 of them were lying limply on the floor. Tiger was on his side near the office with a metal pipe and the sniper rifle lying by his side. Dragon was face down the other side of the lobby with a bloody lamp right next to him. This was... no. Quickly, check their statuses. Snake piped up from behind me. When did he get here? You kid, he was right. I ran forward and started checking on Tiger. As I got closer, I saw a bit of blood behind the hair on the back of her head. But it wasn't that bad. I had to believe in her. I got down and felt for a pulse. I was so worried I'd be met with an eerie silence, but to my relief I felt something. Just as I confirmed she was alive, I started to hear her. I heard her start to softly moan. She was definitely injured, but she wasn't killed or completely out for the count. On the other side of the room, Ox had been checking out Dragon. I looked over to him with hope, but when he met my eyes, he shook his head. Tiger might have survived, but Dragon wasn't so lucky. The race had seen its first casualty. and I began to feel sick to my stomach. After the discovery, everyone eventually made their way to the scene of the crime. After all, gunshots weren't exactly something you could avoid. It was a huge, chaotic mess with people on the verge of tears shouting at each other. However, cooler minds eventually prevailed. Ox reminded them that this would all be for nothing if minor trinkets weren't found. And while people weren't happy about it, they realised he had a point. And so, without clearing much up, the majority of the group returned to their search for items in this haunted school. The ones left behind were Tiger, Ox, Snake, Bunny, and myself. For my part, I mostly just stood there feeling sick the entire time. Luckily, I'd kept myself from vomiting, but the urge was definitely there. Part of it was pathetic, but I was supposed to be a criminal defense lawyer, and I couldn't even look at a dead body. But having it happen so suddenly, so close, to someone you knew, and for the first time, it was just a lot at once. Still, I couldn't just stand there forever. Dragon didn't just die of a heart attack, she was murdered. If I did nothing, that would mean letting her murderer run free. And that wasn't something I was going to let happen. I stood up from the chair I'd been sitting in and walked over to the group. This is a life or death race. I had to run. Hey Mouse, you alright? I'm fine, trust me. If anything, I should be asking you that. Tiger rubbed her eyes and gave a pained smile. A bit after everyone had arrived, Tiger had woken up. She was in a lot of pain, but she didn't seem like there was any serious injuries. The blow to the head just put her out of commission for a few minutes. You talking about the hit to the back of my head? I'm fine, I've taken worse than this plenty of times. You have? Stop getting off topic. You sure you didn't know who did it? I'll tell you what I told you 10 dozen times already. I thought there might have been a minor trinket hidden in the nurse's office over there, so I walked over to the front desk. I tried looking in to see if there was anything, but it's not like I was abandoning my post. I was standing right there. Anyways, all of a sudden, in the corner of my eye, I saw someone moving quickly at me from the hallway. I started to turn towards them, but before I could make a move, I felt a blow to the back of my head, and that was that. They must have rushed at me with the metal pipe and knocked me out before I could even realize what was happening. I didn't ask for a recap, I asked who did it. If you saw them in the corner of your eye, you had to at least see some part of them. I didn't. Or maybe I did, but I don't remember. Look, my head's still kind of messed up from the attack, you know? With an attack like that, it's not unreasonable that her memory would be hazy, especially at the point immediately before the hit. Fine. I just wanted to know who did this. More importantly, what's the damage done? Obviously, besides Dragon, there isn't any. Huh? Tiger still has all the trinkets in her pocket, and even though the sniper was brought out and fired 4 times, all the weapons are present. Seriously? What a lucky break. Indeed. So what should we do now? It may be crass, but might I suggest nothing? What? Hear me out. I am, perhaps more than anyone, deeply wounded by Dragon's passing. She was a deeply spirited woman, and her impact on the group will not go unnoticed. I hope that the full extent of the law can come down on... Why does he always say this whenever someone dies, even though everybody knows he doesn't give a shit? Can come down on whoever killed her, and I'm certain the police will be able to use forensic evidence to get an idea. However, as much as I'm an idealist, I'm equally a pragmatist. We mourn the dead for the living. Avenging her only does as much good as it does us. And in a literal sense of speaking, this isn't much of a setback. No trinkets were stolen, nor were weapons. True, Tiger was caught off guard and attacked, but after this I'm sure she'll be on high alert, facing the hallway, an unmoving warrior. Perhaps she can even proactively arm herself with a pistol. I see no reason why this horrid assault should disrupt our plans. Hence, we should go back to searching for our lifelines, the minor trinkets. Make sense to me? Hold on. We can't let that happen. We can't? I don't want Tiger guarding the weapons anymore. In fact, I don't entirely feel comfortable with letting her walk free. What? I'll be blunt here. Tiger, I suspect you for the murder of Dragon. Well, this is certainly an interesting turn of events. Do go on. Leaving this lobby, there are 4 main routes you could take. After hearing the gunshots, Mouse and I immediately started rushing down the staircase and got to the crime scene fairly quickly. Bunny ran in from the classroom wing. Snake was running down the hallway that the staircase was connected to. The last exit is through the commons. However, there are big windowed doors leading to the commons, and it's quite wide open. When I ran down, I briefly checked that direction, didn't see anyone running away. To sum it up, there shouldn't be anywhere for the criminal to escape. The killer also didn't take any weapons or trinkets, even though they're likely someone affected by Brian's 3rd round rule change. With all that in mind, I think there's a reasonable explanation as to who the killer is. The person who didn't or couldn't leave the scene. That'd be Tiger. That's totally ridiculous. You can't seriously be suspecting me. I'm the victim here. A victim with a very fishy story. I can't imagine anyone getting the jump on you like you claim they did. It's entirely possible you faked your injury to divert suspicion. Seriously? Ox, you're suffering from a serious case of victim blaming right now. You're supposed to be a cop or whatever, right? Prosecutor. Well then, you should know you can't go accusing someone without evidence. Where's your evidence, huh? If you insist. Ox walked over to Dragon's body. Take a look at that lamp. It's majorly bent, and Dragon's skull is practically caved in. That requires a feat of tremendous strength. The only person I think could pull this off would be Dragon, the victim, and Horse, who has an alibi in the form of sheep. Haven't you heard the power of adrenaline? If a mother can lift a car to save a baby, the murderer can dent a lamp to kill someone. Shouldn't a cop like you know that? Prosecutor. And yes, some extraordinary things can happen, but that's the exception, not the rule. I'll also point out that despite your testimony, Tiger, you were found unconscious on the other side of the lobby. How do you explain that? I don't know. The killer must have moved me for some reason. That still doesn't prove anything. I haven't even shown the most damning thing. He then picked up a form on a clipboard which was sitting on the counter. It appears to be some sort of sign-out sheet for students. It had a few bloody flecks on it, and written in scrawled letters, Tiger is Kraz. What's that? I believe it was Dragon's last scribbles. After being injured, she hurriedly scribbled a message to us. She wasn't able to finish it, however, because she was finished off by a lamp. No way, that can't be right. Face it, Tiger, the evidence is stacked against you. Clearly someone's trying to frame me. To waste your guys' time. Mouse, you believe me, right? Well... Alright, let's start with trust, Tiger. I trust you, Tiger. I didn't think you could do this. I knew you believed in me. But Mouse, did you not listen to all the evidence I just laid out? That's just it all seems too neat. Do you really think things are that simple? I should have wrapped it up. Well, we'll wrap it up after this one. Things usually are. I'm sorry, but I'm not going anywhere until we settle this. Fine, I'll just have a look around and prove that Tiger's innocent. If you could, please do. Things were settled. But while the others looked for minor trinkets, we'd investigate Dragon's murder. We all briefly went into separate rooms to input our actions for the next round, and then we returned to work. Don't try anything funny, Tiger. You're strong, but I've confiscated the sniper rifle, and there are 4 of us. I'm not going to do anything. Investigating a crime scene. It's never a fun time. You do this often? I guess you would, being a police officer and all. Yeah. So as a cop, what do you think? I think I need to see more. But there are a few oddities in the scene that would make me think Ox is being a little hasty. Let's try to look for anything that stands out of place, if Tiger was the killer, and see what we can make of it. So where to check first? Okay, we're going to wrap it up now. And in the next one, we're going to try and prove her innocent, or guilty, whatever, I don't fucking know. Whatever she is, we'll prove that. Till then, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, thanks for looking out for me, and I'll see you in the next one.